Hi guys, welcome to Sportstar's World Cup match review for one last time. I am Ayan Acharya here to review the World Cup 2023 final, which just got over at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, where Australia have waltzed to record 6th World Cup trophy. India yet again falling short in the final. Without further ado, let's dive right into the main points. What stood out? Travis Head, brilliant 100 by him. Of course, too bad he couldn't see the team through. Got out with just a few runs to get over the line, and he was ably supported by Marnus Labuschagne, who also hit a 50. We will begin by talking about the playing 11 of both teams here. Both teams retained the same 11 from the semi-finals, which basically meant that for Australia, Marnus Labuschagne made it to the playing 11 instead of Marcus Stoinis, and it turned out to be the perfect decision, because if you looked at the pitch used for the Ahmedabad game, it was pretty evident that it was going to be on the slower side. The ball was going to turn, so you needed someone of test match vein rather than a powerful hitter in the mold of say a Marcus Stoinis. So full marks to Pat Cummins for that call. As for India, there was talk that Ravichandran Ashwin could play, given his record against left-handers and the fact that Australia had a clutch of lefties, and well, of course, the nature of the wicket. But he didn't. Siraj played. However, interestingly, but not surprisingly, Shami and Bumrah took the new ball against Australia instead of Bumrah and Siraj, as has been the norm. Shami has been bowling one change. So one wondered if Shami was always going to take the new ball in the final. Maybe it would have been a good idea to play Ashwin, because Ashwin also gives you batting, right? And given the nature of the surface, although it did look like the pitch got better to bat on as the innings progressed, Ashwin still could have provided some challenge. But well, as we all know, everything sounds different and perhaps more correct in hindsight. Moving on to that knock by Travis Head, what an excellent innings that was by the left-hander. Once again, full marks to the team management and the selectors of the Australian cricket team. They picked Travis Head in the squad despite knowing that he would miss quite a few games up front, because they knew just how impactful he can be when he plays. And boy oh boy was he impactful tonight against India. Really took the game away despite that early stutter where Australia lost 3 wickets for not much on the board. The game could have gone India's way pretty quickly, but he hung in there, played every ball on its merit, and didn't go into a shell. Speaking of going into a shell, one wondered if India's approach with the bat was a bit timid after being put in. It was, of course, a rapid start by Rohit Sharma once again, but he got out, and once he got out, the boundaries literally dried up. At one point, I think they went about 12 overs without scoring a 4 or a 6, which is of concern. I mean, even if you are trying to rebuild, you would expect the occasional boundary, but those didn't come, thanks to some excellent ground fielding by Australia as well. We've seen that twice in a row now. We saw that against South Africa and now in the final as well. So that really troubled India. KL Rahul did try. He made a crafty 66. Virat Kohli looked like he had his eye in and was going to bat through the end, but he couldn't either. So they kept chipping away, the Aussies. The bowling changes were excellent as well from Pat Cummins. At one point, I think in 8 overs, they had tried out 7 bowlers. It was very evident, guys, given just how their main bowlers were bowling, that India had to target the 5th or the 6th bowler. But it wasn't just 1 or 2 bowlers. There were 5 or 6, 3 or 4 bowlers that Cummins relied on. And they rifled through those overs, giving very little time to the Indian batsmen to settle. And in the end, they ended up scoring just 241, which was, even by standards of this pitch, pretty below par, as was shown by Australia in its run chase. And last but not least, let's talk about Pat Cummins. What a year he's had. He's now retained the Ashes. Of course, he's captained captained Australia to a test win in India. He's won the World Test Championship final, and now this. Of course, the definition of an all-rounder perhaps means that he doesn't make the cut, but he does become the 3rd fast bowler after Kapil Dev and Imran Khan to win a World Cup trophy. So kudos to Pat Cummins for that, and commiserations to Rohit Sharma. He really didn't put a foot wrong in this entire tournament. He led by example. He wanted his team to play positively, and that's exactly what it did. He showed We led by example. It's too bad that that one bad game that they were due perhaps by the law of averages came in the summit clash. But all in all, it was a great tournament for the Indian team. It is the end of an era in many ways for this Indian side. We don't know if we will see Rohit, Virat, even Shami in the next ODI World Cup 4 years down the line in South Africa. If we don't, it's been of great service to Indian cricket. I'm sure those decisions will be taken at a later period. Now is the time to probably just sit back and reflect on the tournament, what went right, because there were obviously more positives than negatives for India. As for Australia, they began the tournament with 2 back-to-back defeats. People were writing them off given the nature of the wickets in India. They had injury troubles as well, but they bounced back with 8 consecutive wins. And here they are with a record 6th title. So when it comes to knockouts, ICC events, you never rule Australia out. So yeah, it's a long night of presentations. We'll get you all the live updates on our website, Sportstar website. So do keep a close watch. As for the updates, that will be all from my side. This is Ayan Acharya signing out. Thank you so much.